If you are considering a move to Weymouth, Massachusetts, this video is a great place to start to get a general feel for the town and what it has to offer. Weymouth is one of the most commonly searched for and considered towns on the South Shore. It's more affordable than a lot of nearby towns, it has coastal access, and you have a wide range of housing options here. Weymouth is definitely one of those towns that buyers are considering if they're just trying to make the numbers work, but it's definitely not for everyone. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what people love about Weymouth, what people don't love so much about Weymouth, who Weymouth tends to be a great fit for, and who should probably think twice before moving here. Before we get into the pros and cons of living in Weymouth, let's talk a little bit about where Weymouth is actually located. So here you're about 12 to 15 miles south of the city of Boston, and you border Braintree, Quincy, Hingham, Rockland, and Abington. One of the defining features of Weymouth is its size and its spread. It's actually broken up into three different parts. You have North Weymouth, East Weymouth, and South Weymouth. And those neighborhoods definitely have different personalities from the others, and even the pockets within these neighborhoods can feel different as well. From an accessibility standpoint here, you have access to Route 3, Route 18, and Route 53. Not to mention not only one, but two commuter rail lines in town. So Weymouth is definitely an accessible town, even though you're not quite as central as towns like Braintree and Quincy. Now let's get into the pros or the positive aspects of living in Weymouth, starting with pro number one, which is the more attainable purchase price point here. Compared to towns like Braintree, Quincy, Hingham, Milton, Weymouth just consistently offers a more attainable entry point. And you can still find condos, single-family homes, and multifamily opportunities here as well. But for those entry-level buyers who are just trying to get into the South Shore market somewhere, Weymouth just offers a much more realistic entry point. Just as a reference, the median single-family home price point right now is sitting around $660,000, and the median apartment rental rate here is around $2,400 a month. Now you can definitely find homes for less than that, and you can still find homes in Weymouth that are trading for over $1 million, but that should give you an idea of where the average price points are sitting right now in Weymouth. A quick note on the schools here for some additional context. Weymouth's public schools are solid for the value, they're reliable, they are well-rounded, and they are getting better. And Weymouth has invested in the system as well, with a brand new middle school opening up in 2022. And if athletics are something that are important to you, Weymouth competes in a strong conference in competitive sports, and they have some solid facilities there as well. So for public academics and athletics, Weymouth is by no means elite, but for the value, it is a strong, dependable system. Pro number two is your coastal access here in Weymouth. And I find this to be somewhat underrated by many of the locals around here. But in North Weymouth, you have beaches, you have marinas, and you have the Weymouth River. I will say that the beaches here in North Weymouth are harbor beaches. They are not these stunning, picturesque beaches that, you're not going to see George Lane Beach in Weymouth on a postcard anytime soon. But that said, you do have direct beach access, which is a great draw for the residents of Weymouth, and you still can get to those larger coastal beaches further down the South Shore in towns like Marshfield and Duxbury, and then you can go even further down to the Cape and Islands. So regardless, this is a great lifestyle benefit for the residents of Weymouth and definitely worth considering if you're thinking about moving here. Pro number three is the housing variety. Weymouth offers a wide range of housing options. You have older single-family homes, some starter homes, condos, some newer developments, and even some multifamily options here. So that flexibility allows buyers to enter the market at different price points, build up some equity, and even upgrade over time without even having to leave the area. Pro number four is your access to the multiple surrounding towns, which is going to give you access to those towns' amenities. So in Weymouth, you are close to Braintree, which offers a ton of retail, shopping, and red line access. Quincy is going to give you more restaurants, nightlife, and additional transit options there. And then in Hingham next door, you have a lot more coastal charm, some higher end amenities and dining options. So Weymouth is definitely one of these towns that greatly benefits from what is around it. Pro number 5 is the ongoing development. Certain areas of Weymouth have seen new construction, some redevelopment, and certainly an increase in buyer interest. Now, it hasn't recently transformed or anything, but it is certainly evolving over time, and that's going to create a lot of opportunity depending on where you buy. One major upcoming development is Union Point in South Weymouth, and this is a massive redevelopment of a former naval air base that's turning into a full mixed-use community. And then you have Weymouth Landing, which has been steadily improving with some more walkability and new development over time, and pockets of North Weymouth where you're seeing more waterfront renovations and some smaller scale projects. It's definitely not uniform, but if you're buying in the right area, you're talking about some real upside over time. Now let's quickly run through the drawbacks or the cons of living in Weymouth, starting with con number 1, which is the inconsistent feel across town. Weymouth is definitely not a consistent experience across town. Block to block, area to area, condition changes, density changes, overall feel changes. So you need to be very intentional about location here. Con number 2 is somewhat related, and that is the lack of a defined town center. So Weymouth definitely doesn't have a central town hub like Quincy Center or like Hingham Square. You do have places like the Landing or Jackson Square or Columbian Square, but these town squares feel a little bit more like large intersections with some coffee shops and restaurants and pizza joints than they do one central town hub where people are going to be spending a lot of time and hanging out for a while. So despite a few of those small hubs or town squares, Weymouth generally feels a little bit less cohesive and spread out. Con number 3 is the commute here can be hit or miss. Now, you do have some options in driving or taking the commuter rail, but anytime you're driving and taking Route 3 or Route 3A and then having to get on I-93, you can be in for some serious traffic at rush hour. And you do have options for those commuter rail stops nearby, but you don't have that direct red line access that you're getting in towns like Braintree or Quincy. So the commuter rail is still a great option, and despite having no subway here, you are certainly not lacking accessibility here in Weymouth. Con number 4 is Weymouth can feel a little bit less polished than some nearby towns. So compared to Hingham, compared to Cohasset, or even Norwell, Weymouth can feel a little bit less refined or prestigious. Now, for some buyers, that's an absolute deal breaker. For others, that is where the opportunity is. Now let's talk about who Weymouth could be a perfect fit for. Weymouth tends to work really well for first-time buyers who are just trying to get into the South Shore market, buyers prioritizing value over prestige, people open to different neighborhoods within one town, buyers who want coastal access without paying Hingham prices, or investors looking for flexibility and opportunity. This is definitely a value and opportunity driven market. So who should probably think twice before moving to Weymouth? Well, Weymouth tends not to be the best fit for buyers wanting a consistent, polished town feel, buyers prioritizing walkability or a strong downtown, buyers looking for a luxury-driven market, or buyers who want a very specific neighborhood vibe without variability. So Weymouth really isn't about living in luxury. It is about access, flexibility, and opportunity. It really gives you a way into the South Shore market to start building some equity that a lot of nearby towns just don't offer. But just like Milton, Quincy, Canton, Hingham, Braintree, it only works if your expectations match what the town actually offers. If you are more comfortable just doing some research on your own, feel free to subscribe for some additional info about these greater Boston or South Shore real estate markets so you know what to expect moving forward. And when you're ready to get a little bit more intentional, you can feel free to reach out then. In the meantime, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you have questions or comments, feel free to drop them below. If you are a Weymouth local with some additional insight about the area, please feel free to drop that in the comments as well. And if you or anyone you know is planning on making moves this year, feel free to reach out to us or connect us to your friends or family. We are happy to have that conversation. And thanks again so much for watching, guys. We will see you on the next one. Take care.